Welcome back, everybody. So in this video, we're actually going to break down an individual stock here. We're going to break down Accenture. This is one that's kind of starting to hit on my radar. I don't know where we're going to lead, but we can see here that it's trading right around 24 times earnings. The company is guiding for between 6 to 7% revenue growth. It's starting to make some interesting partners here with Palantir. They offer integration and application management for security, intelligent platform, infrastructure, software engineering, data and AI, and automated services. It also offers custom designs, manufactures, and assembles automation equipment, robotics, and other commercial hardware products for businesses. We can see pretty strong top line revenue growth here, knocking on the door of a $70 billion in revenue company here, and they're projecting 6 to 7%. And they could be pretty conservative here with those estimations. A lot of these earnings were dropping around the time that trade tariffs were at a heightened level, and there was fear of international business slowing down and companies pulling back on spending. And I'm just not so sure that's the case. So I do think that they're probably going to outperform the 6 to 7% revenue growth, but we're going to be conservative as always with our analysis here. Now, before we dive in, we did deposit another $450 into our work retirement account, which now brings our total accounts sitting at $60,845. So we're definitely making some progress here. I do think there's going to be a pullback, and I also want to talk about how I am going to handle what I believe a pullback around the corner that's going to take place here. We're going to use covered calls to create some extra yield within our portfolio on top of some dividends here that are going to be coming due. And as always, if you like this type of material, consider subscribing and smash that thumbs up to get the information out there to new investors who are serious about fundamental investing. The first thing I do want to point out is when markets anticipate very strong growth and it fails to meet market expectation, we see extremely violent moves. This stock specifically going from 390 down to 280. I think another great example of this is taking a longer look at a company like Enphase. We pull up a 5-year chart on Enphase. This was over a $330 stock, now trading at $42 a share. And this is what happens when you overextend on growth rates and for too long of a period. So when we're running our analysis, we definitely want to give the opportunity of building some safety first and foremost, but also being realistic with expectations. And when you see these price targets and you're thinking it's a safe stock, it's never going to hit these levels. Let me reiterate that companies like UNH have fallen drastically, a quote unquote safe investment. Companies like Meta have lost 60% in value at one point in time. So when you think that these numbers are outrageous, just always remember that names like Enphase, Facebook, UNH, whether they're safe or not safe investments, do have these opportunities that present themselves. So don't think that anything is impossible. Now, maybe sometimes we're not going to hit our analysis, but maybe sometimes we're not going to hit what we want for our investment price targets. That's okay. There's tens of thousands of other stocks we can choose from and work out. First thing I like to do with a company like this is kind of get an idea of where valuations are lying. So it's pretty interesting here. Schwab is usually pretty conservative with their valuations, and believe it or not, they're giving it a B rating. Morningstar is giving it a 2-star rating, meaning that it's probably going to be an underperformer. And then if we look at CFRA, they're giving it a 4-star rating, and Argus is giving it a buy as well. So I would say overall mixed reviews. I would say the most conservative analysis is usually done by Schwab, and the fact that they're giving it a B rating, and this was done on 7/5, which was today, believe it or not, that's interesting to find out. That makes it very interesting to me that they're willing to give it such a high rating. Now, when I was interested in Cisco Systems and it was trading around $42 to $45 a share, Schwab had an A rating on it, and now Cisco is knocking on the door, and it actually might even broke above $70 a share. I don't think we've quite got that far, but let's take a look. Yeah, currently knocking on the door of $70 a share, trading at $69.81. One thing that gets overlooked from a company is how they deploy capital, and we can see here that we have double digits across the board. Return on invested capital sitting at 18%, return on equity sitting at 27%. So they're doing a good job of getting a high return on invested capital, getting a high return on any time they deploy capital. Very nice free cash flow margin sitting nearly 15%. And by most analyst expectations, it's looking like it's sitting closer to fair market value. So we probably need a pullback just by off of these expectations. What revenue expectation is going forward? They're guiding for 6 to 7%. They're projected to be doing over $70 billion in revenue by 2026 and $78 billion by 2027. So this is definitely going to be a longer term investment. If they can keep these types of numbers going and EPS following that strong, I definitely think we could be looking at a multi-bagger here for multiple reasons. I think they're a company that's in the right place at the right time. A tremendous amount of companies are spending a lot of money. They're making good partnerships. I'm taking a look at this company here. And when we look at some of the companies that have actually outperformed, they're not really these small cap companies, and they're not necessarily mega tech companies or the mega cap companies. They're actually these companies that are sitting between 100 to 400 billion dollars in market cap. Companies like Cisco Systems, Oracle. These types of companies were getting overlooked, but they offer a lot of opportunity for multiple reasons. In the trailing 12 months, we can see here that they're doing $68.4 billion. And you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm using 6, 5, and 3% growth rates. Now they're projected to do between 6 to 7. I'm erring on caution, and I also think they're going to over deliver here. So I'm being pretty conservative here with my analysis. I'm asking for an 11% required rate of return. They're also paying nearly a 2% dividend on top of that. That's basically a 13% compounded rate of return if I'm able to get in at these price targets, which is also building in a little bit more safety here. The other thing I want to point out is the strong free cash flow. If we take it back, this was a company doing around $8.4 billion in free cash flow, now pushing over $10 billion in free cash flow. Cash and cash equivalent sitting at $5 billion. We are kind of far off here. We really get one price target. It's sitting just under $200 a share. So from a free cash flow standpoint, we can see we get 206, build a little safety in there. We're looking at 185. And then from a multiple to EBITDA, we're looking at nearly $200 once again. I do have a required rate of return sitting close to 11%, and maybe I can knock that down a few percentage points due to the fact that I think that they're going to be able to grow this dividend. That's going to be a big part of their returns. And on top of that, they are undershooting here and on top of that, they could be undershooting. And so my required rate of return, if I put it at 9% plus nearly a 2% dividend, I'm still sitting at a required rate of return sitting close to 11% on a company that I truly believe is undershooting a lot here. And we get closer to about a $250 price target when we look at the free cash flow model versus the EBITDA model. So for me, this one's getting pretty interesting here. I do think I would need probably another 20% dip to average in. And then if it broke below 200, I'd be looking to possibly add in pretty heavily here. So this is kind of how I would play this one. If it got close to 250, probably average in a little bit. If it broke below 200, that would be where I probably do most of the buying. And as I stated before, I know sometimes these price targets seem a little bit ridiculous, but I want you to think about some of these quote unquote safe companies, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Companies like UNH that have fallen drastically. Companies like Meta that have fallen in the past extremely hard. We watched a lot of different companies fall 30, 40% that are quote unquote safe. So what is a company of this stature going to do in a downward market? Could we see it down 25, 30% pretty quick? So I am going to keep my price target between 195 to 230 on this, but I understand averaging in around that 250 mark if that opportunity does present itself. As always, ladies and gentlemen, this is my dive into Accenture. Wanted to dive in here. This one was getting interesting, and it's still a little bit further away for me to really start looking at it more serious, but maybe that opportunity comes sooner than later. Appreciate your time. We will see you all in the next.